What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm covering burnout. Dun, dun, dun. Nurse burnout is very real. But before we dive in, you guys, I just wanted to say I am 5 videos deep in this YouTube game. You know, this is my 5th video. It's fine. I'm basically an expert on YouTube. But if you've been watching my videos and you're thinking, you know, I kind of like this girl, I kind of vibe with her, I could rock with her, then please like and subscribe to my channel. You know, comment down below, engage with me. I want to engage with you. Hit that bell so you stay up to date on my latest content and we can continue to walk through this YouTube journey together. So without further ado, let's get into it. Burnout, what is it? Burnout is defined as a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion, and it's caused by excessive or prolonged stress. So we know that healthcare workers, and nurses in particular, are at an increased risk of burning out. I read a really crazy and very sad statistic the other day. So the RNAO put out a study last year, and it said that based on the responses, over 75% of nurses are considered burnt out. Over 75%. That is a crazy statistic. The RNAO is a regulatory body in Ontario, Canada, but I can't imagine that it's much different for nurses worldwide. So it's really important that as nurses, we're recognizing what is burnout, what are the signs that I need to look for, and what can I do to avoid burning out? So guys, if we think of that definition that I had just mentioned, emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion, and then you think of nursing as a field and what are some requirements of the job, we know that nursing is emotionally, physically, and mentally demanding. So the fact that there's an overlap there, we know that nurses are at an increased risk of burning out. Like there's no question. So in addition to that, some other things that put us at risk for burning out are workload, working rotating shifts, flipping between day and night, night and day, and really poor staffing ratios, especially post-COVID. It seems that working short staff is just the new norm, and it's horrible. And these are just some of the many things that put us at risk for burning out. So what are some signs that we need to look for burnout? Always feeling tired, constant dread and panic about work, feeling apathetic about helping others, increased anxiety, loss of appetite, loss of sleep, insomnia. These are just a few of the many things that you can look for that would be signs of burnout. So now that we know what burnout is and what are some signs of it, it's important for us to know, well, what can we do to avoid it? So I'm gonna give you some tips that I find have worked for me, and since I've implemented them, I have a much better work-life balance. So I hope that they'll work for you. My first tip is to stay hydrated. Drink your water. Nurses are notorious for pounding back the coffee and not drinking any water. Just imagine we're at work educating our patients on the importance of staying hydrated and preventing dehydration, yet you haven't had a sip of water since you woke up. How does that make sense? It's important that you stay hydrated. I know for me, on days when I don't get enough water, when I leave work, I'm extra exhausted. I'm just spent. I feel so blah. You know, my footsteps are heavy. So it's really important that we are drinking our water. And piggybacking off of staying hydrated is going to the bathroom. You guys, take your pee breaks. Nurses are also notorious for going hours without going to the bathroom. I don't understand how they do it. You know, you wake up, you get to shift at 7, and then you look at the clock, it's 6 p.m. and you haven't peed all day. Not only is that a recipe for a UTI, and that's really hard on your kidneys, it's not good. It's not a good practice to get into. So especially if you're drinking your water, if you're staying hydrated as much as you should be, then you should be going to the bathroom just the same, right? Nurses are all about our ins and our outs, our I's and our O's. We gotta maintain that balance. If you're drinking water, you gotta pee. And in addition to it being good for your body, it's also a good mental break. Even if you're in that bathroom for 45 seconds, it's still 45 seconds that you are not on the floor. It's 45 seconds that you can engage in some breath work, that you can take stock, that you can just recalibrate. So guys, take your pee breaks. Another thing that you can do while on shift is to take your lunch break. Do not be that nurse that works through their lunch break. It's not cute. It's just gonna set you up to burn out. Take your lunch break. Even if you feel that you're not hungry, you're not gonna be eating, it's really important that you leave the floor and you give yourself that time away from the hustle and bustle of the unit, from call bells going off, from the unit phone that does not stop ringing. It's important that you step away from that. So take your lunch breaks. And if you can, you guys pack a lunch. I know for me, when I pack a really delicious lunch, I'm almost excited to sit down. I'm so looking forward to lunch, and it's something small. It's just a little slice of joy, and it really brightens up my day. And honestly, bonus points if you can bring a lunch that is healthy, if you bring a lunch that is nutritious, because it's gonna get you through that second half of the day. It's gonna give you that extra push, that extra gas that you need to make it to the end. Bring your lunch. The last thing that you can do on shift to prevent burnout is ask for help. Nursing is a team sport. We can't get through it alone. You gotta ask for help. If you're lucky enough to be working with PSWs, CNAs, healthcare aides, then you need to utilize them. You need to work with them and see what you can delegate to them. You know, if you have a patient that is constantly on the call bell asking to go to the bathroom, then you can have a talk with your PSW or with your healthcare aide and work together, and they can take that load off of you. If asking for help is gonna be that difference between you getting out on time and staying an extra 20 minutes to chart, then you gotta ask for help. It's gonna make a world of difference, especially in the long run. So those were all things that you could do while you're on shift. If you're working 12 hours like I am, those are things that you can do to prevent burnout while you're at the hospital. But now I'm gonna give you some things that I do at home and things that you can do at home to prevent burnout. So the first thing I'm gonna stress is the importance of having a routine. Human beings thrive off of routine. And you guys, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It doesn't have to be this complex multi-step routine. It can be something as simple as taking a bath, lighting some candles, reading a book, cleaning up your home. You know, I know some nurses like to indulge in trashy reality TV, and it's me. I am some nurses. Shout out to Real Housewives. I love coming home after a long day and just turning my brain off and indulging in some of my reality shows. And if this is what you need to do, or if this is what you want to do to distress, then do it. Whatever you can do to tell your body, to tell your brain, okay, I have left work. I am not a nurse right now. I am Jane, and this is what I'm gonna do to relax, then do it. The second tip that I have is to get adequate sleep. You guys, the importance of sleep can't be overstated for a regular person, but especially as nurses, we need to be getting our sleep. You know, we're working rotating shifts. Our job is very, very demanding. It's important that we are giving ourselves a chance to rest and recuperate by getting adequate sleep. I know many of us have iPhones out there, so they have this really cool feature that you can turn on. It will actually notify you that it's time to go to bed. So if you put 10 p.m., it's gonna go off as an alarm, and it's gonna say, you know, time to get ready for bed. So that's a good thing that you can use. You can also implement, I don't remember if it's 3 or 4 hours, but no eating X amount of hours before bed, no screen time an hour before bed. If you have access to blackout curtains, you can use those too. Anything that is going to increase your chances of getting good quality sleep. As nurses, we need to be doing that. We need to prioritize our sleep because so much of healing happens when we are sleeping. Next, it's important that we take care of our physical health. Try and eat right, try and exercise, try and get your body moving. So, you know, if you are working, let's say you're working a day shift, I know you'd be getting home at 7:30, but it could be something as small as pulling out your mat, doing some stretches, doing yoga. If you can get to the gym, do that. Anything that's gonna get your body moving, anything that's gonna get that energy moving, get the blood circulating is really, really good. I know for me, when I'm exercising regularly, there's an asterisk beside it because, you know, I fluctuate, I go back and forth, but when I am exercising regularly, I tend to sleep better. So good exercise and good sleep tend to go hand in hand. So if you are exercising regularly, that's great because you are giving yourself a very high chance. You're increasing your chances of getting good sleep. So if you can, take care of your physical health by eating right and by exercising. Next, it's really important that as nurses, we have hobbies outside of work. Do not make your entire life nursing. I know when you're in nursing school, you're almost like an eager beaver and your life is pretty much nursing. It's nursing school, right? You wake up, you have clinical, you come home, you're doing your journals, you're doing your care plans. So it's really hard for your life to not be nursing. But once you move out of that phase and you're working as a licensed nurse, it's really important that you have hobbies outside of this. So do you like cooking? Do you like reading, writing? Do you enjoy creating content? What do you like to do that makes you happy? It's really important that you pour into yourself because what do we always say? You can't pour from an empty cup. How can we take care of our patients if we're not even taking care of ourselves? So if you're lucky enough to be able to travel, then do that. Experience new things, new places, new food, new people. Make your life rich outside of work. I'm not saying don't care about work. Being a nurse it's great, it's important, work is important, but don't make that the sole focus of your life because life is so much bigger than your 12-hour shift. So it's really important that you are moving with that mindset. Have hobbies outside of work. And my fifth and final tip is to invest in your relationships. Spend time with family, spend time with friends outside of work. This is really important that you nurture these relationships because when you've had a really rough day at work or you've had a really rough, let's say you worked 3 days on, and then, you're going out for dinner with your girls, that can mean the world. That can be so therapeutic. Even if you're just sitting on the couch talking, laughing, that can be so healing. And if you can, have nurse friends because your fellow nurse friends will know what you're going through. When you say, I had a really rough day, without breaking HIPAA, HIPAA violation. When you say, I had a really rough day, they know what you're talking about. They can relate. So if you can, find fellow nurse friends that can support you. And guys, if all else fails, you can invest in therapy. That's what therapists are there for. They're there to listen to you speak. They're to help you unload, take off that mental load, and to give you tools that will help you navigate through the stresses of being a nurse. So therapy is a really great tool that you can invest in as well. So there you have it, guys. We've gone over burnout, what it is, what are some signs that you can look for, and what are some things that you and I as nurses, what are some things that we can do to avoid burning out? So I want to hear what you have to say. Have you been burnt out? Do you have any experiences with it? Or do you have any tips for burnout that I didn't mention in this video? Please leave that comment down below. I would love to read it. And as always, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.